At Signal Health Group, we deeply empathize with the vulnerability that older adults face on a daily basis. We understand how this issue has affected our senior community, and we are committed to doing everything in our power to provide them with the care and support they deserve. I think about older adults, individuals who once cared for us, taught us, and guided us through life's trials. It is difficult to imagine that they now find themselves in a position where they must rely on others. This dependence, however, can open a door to a dark world of abuse, a world that is all too often ignored or overlooked. Consider the case of Jane, a widowed octogenarian who depended on her children for meals, transportation, and financial decisions. When one of her children began exploiting her vulnerability, taking her money, neglecting her care, and even resorting to physical violence, Jane found herself trapped in silence, fearful of losing the very support she desperately needed. Tragically, Jane's story isn't an isolated incident. It's estimated that between 5 and 10% of elderly Americans suffer abuse. A study conducted by the National Committee for the Prevention of Elder Abuse discovered a shocking trend of spiraling rates of elder mistreatment. According to their research, over 500,000 persons aged 60 and above were victims of domestic abuse, and an astounding 84% of these incidents went unreported, leaving the victims without the protection and support they require. It's important to note that despite the focus on nursing home abuse, the fact remains that the majority of elder abuse cases occur within the home at the hands of family members or caregivers. This issue deserves more attention and action to ensure that our elderly population is protected and safe from harm. In 2004 alone, Utah Adult Protective Services investigated approximately 2,400 allegations of abuse, neglect, or exploitation of vulnerable adults. The majority of victims were females between the ages of 60 to 89, and a staggering 60% of the perpetrators were family members or relatives. The figures presented illustrate the harsh and unacceptable truth of elder abuse. Yet, it's believed that these statistics only scratch the surface, with a suspected 9 out of 10 cases going unreported. Why does this underreporting occur? Fear of losing support, fear of retaliation, fear of isolation. Many victims are reluctant to report the abuse as they are dependent on their perpetrators for their basic needs. This issue demands our urgent attention and action. Elder abuse is not an isolated problem. It is widespread and underreported, a silent epidemic that we must fight against. Please don't turn a blind eye to elder abuse. If you suspect it, reach out to the authorities and report your suspicions. Your action could be the lifeline that saves an elderly person from a life of fear and abuse. At Signal Health Group, we believe it is imperative that we take urgent action to address mistreatment of the elderly. It is our duty to create a world where our seniors can live with dignity and respect. We must ensure their protection and well-being. After all, they spent their lives caring for us. Isn't it time we return the favor?